We begin with the continued frenzy in D.C. over whether President Biden should stay or step down from his re-election bid. Democrat governors held a meeting with the president on Wednesday where they pledged to continue supporting him. Kentucky Governor Beshear went to Washington, D.C. to attend that meeting in person, saying that he hoped to have an open conversation about Biden's health and campaign strategy. Now, despite that pledge to back Biden, his debate performance has continued to spark private talks about a new Democratic game plan. Here's Governor Beshear this week on CNN with his response on his name being floated for the ticket.
Now, my name coming up, it's flattering as a person to hear, but I think it's more about the good things going on in Kentucky. We've lowered the temperature. We have Democrats and Republicans working together. We have record job growth, record exports, record tourism.
So, Senator Thayer, I'm going to let you start the conversation here. Certainly no secret you've been a critic of the governor during his time in office. First, though, is it even realistic right now for us to be having the conversation of changing who's on the ticket?
I don't think so. As a Republican, I've enjoyed watching the Democrat disarray over the past few weeks. As an American, I'm very concerned about who's at the wheel at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. If they're looking at Beshear to be a potential running mate, it shows you how thin the bench is for national Democrats. And here he is once again taking credit for all the good things that Republicans have done. I mean, he's really a do-nothing governor. I don't know why they'd want him on the ticket. But I honestly don't see Joe Biden stepping down from being president. His family and the Democratic machine, the Obamas, are heavily invested. It is interesting to watch that the governors are urging President Biden to stay where he is, while a lot of members of Congress who are very nervous about how it could affect their own reelection this fall are pushing him to get out of the race. It's a delightful mess for a Republican to watch, but again, as an American, I'm very concerned. I don't think our standing in the world is very strong right now, and a lot of people are wondering who's really in control.
Senator Webb, your take on this?
I think there would be a potential for a change of candidate, and I think it's more than the members of Congress that are having the chatter and the discussion about it. And certainly in this day and age of big money in campaigns, in social media, it's a different kind of campaign format. So I think certainly there would be time if that decision was made either by the president himself or he was gently pushed out by donors, whoever. But I think there would be time to have a different candidate. I think Governor Beshear is a very marketable candidate. I think he has a lot of attributes. And like all of us in government, he's got some negatives. But you know, right now he's popular. He's gone through some crises. He has led Kentucky, and I think he's handsome. He's intelligent. He's got a beautiful family, and he could navigate the course on the national level because he was raised in an environment to do that. So I can see why they're looking at him.
How do you think he would stack against the other candidates or names being floated out there as possible VP picks if, say, for example, Vice President Harris were to take the top of the ticket? We're hearing about Governor Josh Shapiro as well as Governor Roy Cooper, for example.
I'm not impressed with that line of potential candidates. If I were to advise Governor Beshear at this time, I would say keep doing what you're doing here. Don't utilize, don't waste your political capital in your future, perhaps in an environment and climate like we're in.
Senator Thayer?
I think the result of this election is baked in. It's either going to be Biden or Harris. I think, as I said before, very unlikely that Biden is not the candidate. But if it's not Biden, the Democrats have to go with Kamala Harris, and her numbers are worse than President Biden's. And I would suspect that they're going to look to someone like Governor Shapiro in Pennsylvania or Governor Tony Evers in Wisconsin. Those are swing states. Kentucky's not a swing state. Trump's going to win this state with 65% of the vote. It doesn't matter who's on the Democratic ticket. So I would guess if there is a change, they would probably look to a swing state. But you look at the polling, President Trump has extended his lead in the 7 swing states. And now there are purple states like New Mexico and Maine and New Hampshire, where even the governors of Maine and New Mexico have warned the president that their states are in play. the Democratic ticket's in big trouble, no matter who's at the top of it. And I think come Election Day, we're going to have a new nickname for Donald Trump. It's going to be Grover Cleveland, because he's going to become the first president since Grover Cleveland to serve 2 non-consecutive terms as president of the United States. And we can call Joe Biden Benjamin Harrison.
Now, we've got about 1 more minute left to talk about this, so I want to get you both to weigh in on this question. Does it help or hurt President Trump what the Democrats are going through right now if they were to even change candidates?
I think everything that's happened since the debate, when the world saw what political followers like us have known for a couple of years, and that is President Biden isn't capable of being the commander-in-chief of the United States. That's baked in, and I think it's helped President Trump. And I'm very impressed that he's shown a remarkable amount of discipline, because, you know, Sun Tzu in The Art of War said, when your opponent is making mistakes, don't help them along. Just let them do what they're doing. And I think it's probably Chris LaCivita, his campaign manager, who's given the president some advice. And I'm glad to see that President Trump is listening, because when your opponent's digging a hole, don't give him a new shovel. Just let him dig.
Last word, Senator Webb, about 30 more seconds. Does it help or hurt President Trump for President Biden or President Harris to swap on the ticket?
It's hard to say. It would depend on who the candidate is. I don't think Harris would make an impact at all. I think if you got a new candidate, a fresh candidate, somebody with a good voting record, it could make a little more of an impact.
All right. We'll have to leave it right there.